When we're talking about prospects that the Detroit Lions could take with the 7th pick, we tend to, as fans, look at the experts, or so-called experts, what they look upon and think that the Detroit Lions could do with the 7th pick. In this video, there's going to be multiple experts and their picks of what they think the Detroit Lions are going to do. Let's begin.
It's LeGarrette Blount here, man, 3-time Super Bowl champion. I just want to give you a shout out to the YouTube channel, Micro Mike, man.
Eddie Murray, former Detroit Lion. Make sure you watch Micro Mike on YouTube.
Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron. Big shout out to Micro Mike and YouTube channel, man.
Keep on talking everything Detroit Lions, and I just got to remind you, man, happy wife, happy life.
Welcome to Detroit Lions Talk with Micro Mike. We talk all things Detroit Lions news, rumors, analysis, breakdown, and everything regarding our franchise. And in this video, we're going to give you what the experts think the Detroit Lions are going to do. There's 7 prospects with that 7th pick. Obviously, in this case scenario, there could be trade backs, but I'm not talking about the trades. I'm just talking about the specific player and what they think. And we're going to start with the least likely, at least from the experts' picks, to the most likely when it comes to the expert picks. So you'll see the individuals that they say and the experts' odds for getting that player. And without further ado, let's begin. The least likely of these picks, and the first one here is Doug Farrer from Touchdown Wire. He thinks the Detroit Lions are going to take Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, the linebacker out of Notre Dame. He is the only individual, at least for the mainstream media, that has the Lions taking this player. I totally get it because it's a long shot for specifically the Lions to get this player. Now, if the Lions are going to get Owusu-Koramoah, it'd have to be a trade back scenario. So you can understand why the legacy media does not have a whole lot of picks for getting Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Now, if you've seen my mock draft, I have the Lions take Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, but that would be with a trade back from 7 to 19, or who knows, just a trade back to where it would justify the pick of getting this linebacker out of Notre Dame. Reply to the pinned comment. Now you say, what is a pinned comment? It's the first comment that I have on there, and the question is, who do you want with the Lions pick in the first round? Do you want the Lions to take a wide receiver? Do you want the Lions to take a defensive player? Let me know in the comment section and reply to the pinned comment so we can have a forum and I can see what the fan base thinks. The second player on my list here would be a dream match. Now, obviously, that would be Penei Sewell out of Oregon. You have Chris Burke from The Athletic and Nick from The Athletic having the Detroit Lions getting Penei Sewell with that 7th pick. I think this is interesting because that means the best offensive lineman, in my opinion, would fall to the Lions. And that makes a lot of sense for the Lions to select him if he fell to that 7th pick. Clearly, if something like this happened, it's because there was a run on quarterbacks, and maybe teams like the Bengals, maybe they like Slater a little bit more, or maybe they like the wide receiver. But clearly, having 2 individuals from The Athletic, assuming that the Detroit Lions would get Penei Sewell, is a good feeling. Now, it's still the second lowest odds on the list here when it comes to the experts, but it's still good to see that the Lions have a probability, just a little bit, at least a little bit, to get him with that 7th pick. I think it'd be a great pick, man. You solidify the offensive line. I would love Penei Sewell. That would be ridiculous to protect the quarterback and run that football. Again, Jared Goff, he did great when he was in LA when they had the ability to run the football. You put Penei Sewell on that right side, and you should be able to open up holes like no other. Let's go to the next player. Now, our own Dave Birkett and Tyler Olsen from Pro Football Network. Their expert picks was the Detroit Lions selecting Trey Lance out of North Dakota State. Now, again, this is smaller odds with only 2 of the experts here, but notably Dave Birkett, the Lions beat writer, one of the better legacy media individuals to talk about the football team, seems to get a lot right compared to others. He has the Lions getting the quarterback. Obviously, still, the Detroit Lions traded for Jared Goff. He has Trey Lance falling to them and them selecting him, even though we traded for the quarterback. this would be interesting, and I still think this is a hard situation to go by because the Philadelphia Eagles traded Carson Wentz, and clearly from what we've heard, they would like to get competition at the quarterback position, and I think there's going to be a run on quarterbacks fairly quick. So I still think the odds of getting Trey Lance, just from that perspective of quarterbacks from teams wanting quarterbacks, make it less likely that Trey Lance would even be there with the 7th pick. But hey, when Dave Birkett says it, it does open eyes a little bit because he is on the Lions more than most. The next player, now we have 3 experts. The Detroit Lions selecting the wide receiver Alabama, Jalen Waddle. Now you got Nate Davis from USA Today, Luke Easterling from DraftWire, and Ryan Wilson, the CBS Sports, that is the highlighted individual here, have the Detroit Lions giving Jared Goff Jalen Waddle, the wide receiver, to help open up this offense. I already know Lions fans are going to be very upset by the Lions selecting a wide receiver, but you must understand, in this draft, it's offensive heavy. Unfortunately, the draft is not defensive heavily, and that is bad for the Lions because we need a lot of help on the defense. However, hey, we're in a rebuild/retool mode, so it's possible the Lions could go wide receiver, and Waddle could be that guy. Still, we're on the less odds perspective when it comes to Waddle, but that is a name that when you have these individuals talk about, you got to keep an eye on. Comment on the video. What is your pick? It's simple. Just let me know, who do you want with that 7th pick? Maybe you want to trade back, but who is the player or position, if you don't have a specific name, that you want the Lions to take with that 1st-round draft pick? Go ahead, let me know. Let's start this into a forum. Now we're really starting to get into the big odds here, and we're talking about Devonta Smith, the wide receiver, Alabama. Now, Todd McShay, the notable one here, he has the Detroit Lions selecting him with that pick. And that's interesting because when we think about Devonta Smith, he is a small wide receiver. Soaking wet, he could be 175. And the Detroit Lions want to become a more physical team. They may think twice about that, and if you're a Lions fan, you may want to think twice about a wide receiver so small. Now, sometimes it worked out, but a lot of times it have not. But when you see that many experts thinking the Detroit Lions going to take Devonta Smith, you definitely have to wonder, again, why would they go in wide receiver and solidifying the offense because you're in retool mode? Still, I have my doubts about Waddle a little bit just because of his size and taking on all the pain that required in the NFL, specifically wide receiver, going in the middle, taking the hits because you tend to get beat up a little bit. We're really starting to get up there in the expert picks. Most notably, Kyle Meinke has the Detroit Lions taking Jamar Chase, the wide receiver out of LSU. This is the bigger, stronger wide receiver, has more meat around the bones. A lot of people have him as the #1 wide receiver on their big board. Personally, to me, he is my #1 wide receiver, and if they were going to take a wide receiver, Jamar Chase would be the guy, in my opinion, the Lions should take if they want to go wide receiver route. He's bigger, meatier, built, probably could take more of the punishment, and I think that he could really open up the field, specifically if they have Kenny Golladay on the opposite of him, Quintez Cephas, a young guy. That could really start to build that offense for Jared Goff, and as a retool mode, it would make sense from that aspect. Still, we're seeing a lot of offensive weapons on these boards, and I know a lot of fans say, we need defense, and no doubt about it, we need defense, but just like I said previously, a lot of offensive skill set is heavy compared to defense. However, we still got another player, and according to the experts, most notably Mel Kiper out of ESPN, they have the Detroit Lions taking Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State. Now, this is the most picked player for the Detroit Lions. This is #1 because he is a beast of a linebacker. A couple notable names that weren't mentioned in any of these mock drafts: Kyle Pitts, the tight end. Having a tight end to Detroit in a top 10 draft pick at the 7th pick would be hard to swallow as a Lions fan, even though he can be utilized in multiple facets on the offense. Patrick Surtain, the cornerback. Look, the Detroit Lions took cornerback already last year with the 3rd pick. Makes not much sense to do that again. And Farley, the other cornerback. But another individual, surprising, not a single person has mocked to them, is Slater, the offensive lineman. You'd think that maybe someone would think that the Detroit Lions would do Slater, but he is an individual that was not on the list, and I'm curious to see how this mock draft changes throughout the months until leading up to the NFL draft. Lions need help at the linebacker position like never before. Our linebacker position is very bad. It is the worst position group on the team, in my opinion, in a position need of defense. It could really help the defense get better. But there is concerns when it talk about Micah Parsons because of his personality trait and what has taken place in his years at Penn State off the field, not on the field. I see why many individuals think that Penn State linebacker Micah Parsons would be a perfect fit for Detroit. If you look at Mel Kiper Jr., he actually has the Detroit Lions trading out of 7 and getting Micah Parsons at 12. Who knows? But right now, when it comes to the mainstream media, Micah Parsons is the favorite to be the next Detroit Lion. Definitely will be fun to see what happens in this draft and what we're seeing from the media personnel, what they think the Lions are going to do going forward. But in the upcoming videos, we got the One Pride podcast live at 6:30 p.m. EST every single Thursday. You got questions. We have a mailbag segment. We will answer directly, and it's fun. We interactive, so make sure you show up for that. Got videos dropping every single day, literally, so you got to hit that notification bell and subscribe if you haven't done so, because you'll miss out on the live shows, you'll miss out on the breaking news, you'll miss out on the rumors, you'll miss out on everything regarding the Detroit Lions.